Hi everyone. How's everybody doing? Very excited for the topic for November in the Mediumship Development Support Group on Facebook to be about gallery readings. I think it's a very interesting event, and it's never the same. It's always different. And we're going to talk today in this video about, and I'm going to talk and be safe and drive, so I won't be answering questions till after I am parked and safe. But we're going to talk about gallery style readings and what do you need to do to prep before a gallery style reading. Again, this is the subject for November. I've posted a picture and invited everyone to comment. I've also opened up a chat if people want to ask questions, comment, and expand on this subject within the group. So I'm going to take you through what I do to prepare before a gallery reading. So obviously, you have to choose a space that is comfortable for you. Go out to the space, step into it, see how it feels. Look and see where you'll be reading, the platform area, how comfortable that is to you. You want to give yourself enough space to move the power in the room. So you don't want to have the chairs like 2 inches away from where you're standing and moving, because again, you'll be very close to the front. You can't go psychic if you're too close, or again feel too constricted, bringing you to your lower chakras, which is your psychic space, your physical space, not your mediumship space. So we don't want that. We want to stay in our mediumship space and feel that we can move the power. So if you have to take out a row or limit the people to give yourself that space, it is beneficial for you to have a wonderful experience demonstrating that life goes on after death. You have to understand within that room, you have the presence of yourself, presence of the attendees and their loved ones, okay? So the seen and the unseen. And so you want that to be comfortable. The fact that the room would be comfortable will still put the attendees in a position where they're feeling the energy and the power in that room as well. So can you imagine if they're feeling the power and they are feeling constricted at the same time? That's not going to be very comfortable, okay? I have found that even people that have diabetes or borderline high blood pressure, in an environment of a gallery reading, from sitting in there for whatever time they sit in there, that their blood pressure tends to go up a little bit and their sugar shifts and changes, which is why we try to have sweets in the room, orange juice, and also Reiki practitioners in the room to help ground people back down if they get sick physically, because it has happened. So and that I recognize the diabetes part through a follower of mine that would come to all my galleries, and she said, I noticed that when I come, my sugar goes crazy. So I'm bringing candy now and I'm checking my sugar before and after. So that's a good thing to tell attendees if they're, having diabetes type 2 or hypoglycemia, to bring candy or have it at hand, an orange juice at hand, because you never know, right? So the space is very important. It really is, especially for the medium to be able to move the power in. Obviously consider the attendees, but also consider the spirit world. Give yourself enough space as the medium to bring the power up, and also to connect on your receiving side, if that's front, back, left, right, whatever it is for you, and feel that you're not too close to the attendees. So when you go and check out a space, keep those things in mind. When we say gallery platform, if you don't have a platform that you're stepping up to, which you don't need. Some people like to have a platform. Some people, they really don't care. I really don't care. But I do give myself enough space, and I give myself that threshold to stay within when I'm doing my gallery readings. So that I do, okay? Another thing that I do is I'll create a aura mist based on what I'm guided to put in it for the group. So right before the gallery reading, I will, put together the spray with the intention for it to serve the best and greatest good of whoever is there and whoever is attending. And when I get to the room, which is probably an hour and a half to 2 hours prior to the attendees coming, I'll mist the corners of the room to refresh the energy and allow it to be ours, all right? And to work within that frequency. So whatever was is not, and whatever is. So that's one method. I also attune the room with Reiki symbols. Or now that I do shaman work, I'll do the God's breath within the space to shift it to a nice, balanced, loving space. Okay? So that's very important as well. The chairs. You want to be able to make sure that there's enough space in front of your attendee. So sit in the chair and see where their legs are, where their legs will be. You don't want them to be crowded either when you're making the rolls. So that's very important. Another thing to consider as well is think about people that are a little bit larger. You want to be able to accommodate them and allow them to feel comfortable. So perhaps maybe having seats on the ends open until you are obviously done checking everybody in is a good idea. Another thing is you want to ask if anybody has issues hearing, because if they do and they sit in the back and you're doing a gallery of 45 people and you're not using a speaker system, well, that's not going to work too well for that person. Okay, so you want to, upon check-in, ask or have some sort of check and balance where if someone cannot hear well, then you would want to put them in the front of the room. Okay. Obviously, within a gallery, you never know what's going to happen, who's going to get a reading, who's not going to get a reading. So there's really no prep in reference to, the reading's going to go like this, so let me do this or let me do that within the room to accommodate what I know is going to happen. The medium doesn't know anything at all. It depends on the strong communicating souls that are coming in, the enabling spirits bringing the other souls in. So again, it all depends on all of that. So your trust is very important. And when you're working in the capacity of platform, it is a good idea to go in the room before anybody gets there and walk on that platform. Feel the platform and get acquainted with the platform. Get acquainted with it so that you don't feel, I find that some students feel less nervous once they've stepped up there and they feel the power. The power in a gallery reading is a lot stronger than the power in a one-on-one. So one-on-one is different. You're dealing with just that person's loved ones. Well, in gallery, you have everybody's loved ones behind you, right? And you are in a power that is much higher vibrating than a one-on-one. So you want to be able to practice and to try to get comfortable with that. I remember the first time I stepped onto the platform. Can't turn your shoots key. I was very, very nervous, extremely nervous, and I wanted to run off, to be honest, because as soon as I stepped up to that platform, I felt hot head to toe. It was like I had a heater in front of me. So prior to doing a gallery, a practice gallery is a good idea. It's a good idea for you to do a practice gallery. Do it with your friends, family, get together. You could do it online, on Zoom. You could do it in person. But practice galleries are extremely helpful and important for many reasons: to get comfortable with the delivery, to get comfortable with the power that I'm speaking of that you feel when you're stepping onto that platform. So it does benefit you, which is why sometimes you guys will see my students offering that online, because I want them to get comfortable with the power that's building, right? When they're coming into that space, and it's not a shock to them, which pulls them down then to where? To their physical space, their psychic space, because now there's fear there, and I'm feeling what's happening in my body, so I can't stay in my mediumship space up here. So if you can recognize that prior to a gallery, and you can gain the tolerance, you won't be tugged down to your psychic space. You won't be tugged down to your physical. And again, this is just my philosophy, my experience. I'm giving it to you how I see it, how I feel it. But everybody sees it differently, maybe perhaps expresses it differently. But this is just my philosophy. And I'm bringing it to you guys. So all of these things are extremely important to be able to give yourself that more groundedness when you're taking the platform. And I think the beautiful part of the preparation is also understanding that this is not only something that you do for yourself, but this is something that you do for this world and the next, because you're merging, those that are here, and you're bringing in messages and connecting, and also giving the loved ones an opportunity to have a voice. So you always want to keep that in mind, that it's two worlds. You're the medium in two worlds. What is happening in this world and what is happening in the present physical world that you're in when you're delivering is very important. Both are very important. But you want to be able to make it comfortable, because it is going to be very emotional. I think raising the frequency in the room prior to attendees getting there is awesome. I love it. Is it necessary? It's not really necessary. You can do it during. You can have people clap in between. I don't, but you can. You can say jokes in between to raise the frequency. You can just be yourself and do the things that you feel resonate with you. But really, really, really keeping people engaged is important. When you step into the platform before anybody gets there, remember, if you're reading somebody to the left of the room, you want to stand all the way to the right. So you're here, you're reading here, but you're not giving your back to anybody. If you're reading somebody on the left side of the room, you want to be, the right side, you want to be standing here in the platform. So that way, right, you're not giving anybody your back, and you're holding the audience, okay? You're holding the audience, you're holding the attendees. So the power is very important to focus on prior, already in preparation for a gallery reading. It is important prior, it is important during, and it is important to acknowledge all that has happened after and have gratitude. So you'll find that I'm going to be giving you guys another video, which is what happens during a gallery, and then what happens after a gallery. So this is the very first video, which is how do you prep for a gallery, the things to consider based on how I do them and how I, bring forward the setting, and also consider the spirit world as well. Not only just those that are here, but consider the spirit world. How are they feeling, and how can I be as much help to them as a medium as possible, and allow them to be confident in using me. Okay, so that's kind of my prep, and I don't see any questions here. Of course, I was driving, but if you have any questions, you can join the chat that I just created, and you can ask the questions within that chat, and I will answer in that chat. I will post this video on YouTube, so if you want to listen to it again, you can, outside of being in the group, and you can jot down notes if you'd like to. The things that I have said are very, very helpful, very useful. The administrative stuff is pretty simple. Have a cash box, have change, have your, attendee list. Make sure that it's up to date. People register sometimes an hour to a half an hour before. You don't want them to show up and not be on the list. So those are all very general administrative things. If you are going to record, you want to have everybody sign a consent form that they consent that it's okay to record. So you want to be able to, tape that up on the wall and make sure that that is visible to everybody coming into that room, because it's very important to have their consent. You don't want to get into any type of issues or craziness. Check-in time can begin an hour before or 30 minutes before. It just depends how big your group is going to be. Okay, so you can use your judgment with that. But those are things that I feel will be useful for you. If you have any questions, again, join the chat right now that we have going on within the group, and you can ask questions there, and I'll answer them, as well as other experienced mediums. That's where we're kind of chatting back and forth real time. And again, I think everybody has joined me here in the group, as well as on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, please watch more of my videos on my YouTube channel. It's Lillian Suarez, and again, you can find me on YouTube at Lillian Suarez. Look out for my galleries, because I will be having galleries within the group, and I'm inviting people that want to give it a try. So when I'm going to do the second video talking about what happens and how do you work within that gallery, I'm going to be talking about the mechanics of it. How long is each link? What happens? How do you troubleshoot? So be looking out for that video. Thank you everybody so very much, and bye for now.